Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SWAN pricing show. My name is Filip Vucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I'm Filip Zolota, the owner of Growth Marketing Agency Maoya.
Today we want to talk about, funding the mission, or the difference between, let's say, sustaining work and growth-oriented work, something like this, right? So this is something that's quite different between the expertise-based work, which we in this show called SWAN pricing, and SWAN work, and the more regular commoditized services that we here call duck work. In a commoditized service space, basically a client is a client. Of course, there's always abusive clients or clients that you feel more for, but what you do is usually the same. In the many fields of expertise-based services that are not commoditized, there's a pretty big difference between work that is done in order to sustain the business and the work that is done in order to help you grow, thrive, learn, whatever, make you better tomorrow. And usually that's the more fun part. Sometimes, and I've seen more and more cases of this, the main work, the main mission is not even connected to work. So somebody might be writing a novel and doing consulting work in order to pay the bills, right? That's a valid thing. Or doing something charity, or doing the same work but for charity or charities, or for a good cause, or working on their own software or software platform, or helping somebody in need make their own software platform, and basically using the sustaining work to, as we said, fund the mission, right? So I think it's important that we acknowledge that there's a difference, between several types of work. This was kicked off by this line of thinking was kicked off by a case where a painter was horrified to find out that since he's not yet, let's say, an established author, people don't really buy his works as investments or as heirlooms, or sometimes tourists buy it as from galleries, as souvenirs. But mostly people who sustain him is the dreaded decorators. So people who say, well, that's a wonderful way that you poured your soul all over that canvas. Do you have something like that, but in red, right? It's and I mean, my advice would never be go fully commercial, only to do things that sell. But unless you do some things that sell, you're not going to get an opportunity to get some real art done, which then may establish you. But you have to get there, right? So my advice here would actually be just pay a little more attention to what colors are in this season, and do, if you can fit that into something that still represents you as an artist. Now that's something that you can prepare for, because your expression meeting the perfect person who says, I never heard of this guy, but man, this really speaks to me. That's wonderful when it happens, but it's also a crapshoot. You have no way to prepare for it. It just happens or it doesn't happen, right? So for this, you can actually prepare a little bit without selling out completely, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, because quite a bunch of people are seeing that from perspective of maybe even overly dramatic and overly binary. It's 0 or it's 1. No, you can still take care of your passion and what you have when you in the things in which you are in love in and you love to do, but in the same time do the work which sustains and funds your growth, business growth, personal growth, and whatever, without additional level of complexity, because people are quite often seeing that, I'm losing my soul. No, you're doing your job and you are living according to the values and what you want to achieve by doing sustaining work, which will be funding your long-term goal, plan, and desire state. Passion, exactly, and it is okay. It is okay, completely fine.
I agree. You said in the pre-show talk, you said people see it black and white. I either do no commercial work or I'm a sellout. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really work that way, right? And one of the reasons why it's hazardous for people to get their prices too low, so below what people are willing to pay for them, is because then they have to do more of the work that they don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was something like not the whole business plan, but I started by working on the market part of so let's say market analyses,
Mm-hmm.
business plans. And this is where I found out that people can find costs easily, but what should something new on the market cost? That was always a big question. And this is how I grew out of this. But I I no longer enjoy that work, and I haven't done it for a while. I may do something for a space related thing. It could be fun, but other than that, I did it, and I did it to the best of my ability. It was I think people were very happy with this, but that's not my passion, right? That's something that sustains me, something that pays my bills, something that pays for the hours of research and networking and giving things a chance that would otherwise simply not get a chance because I've got bills to pay, right? Just like everybody else. So if a good project came my way in the near future, I would not necessarily jump for joy, but I would also not say no, because it's sustaining work, and I'm never going to amount to much more than solid competence in that, and I'm completely okay with this. This is simply not my area, and I think that's work that needs to be done, and it's complicated, but it's not something that requires any big amount of creativity or that's something to be done. It's almost an errand of a higher sort, but still, it's an errand. So do you have any examples of people with black and white thinking?
Absolutely.
Go on.
I always remember when we are talking about that specific topic, one great example, one of my colleague and also the friend, he's a senior developer, long years in his business, and he's always being focused on custom development, crazy solutions, automation, etc. Awesome, building an amazing and very complex, highly complex projects. And he was by default rejecting anything what had at least even one tiny bit in a detail and connection with, for example, WordPress CMS. He said, no, there is no chance I'll be doing projects on WordPress CMS, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit, etc., etc., etc. The point is, when shit hit the fan, WordPress was okay. Yeah. And that is sustain work. So when shit hits the fan, when you have a problem, you don't have the alternative solution. That's it. So don't be overly dramatic over that. Do your passion, do what you like, what you love, and that's it.
And pay the bills.
And pay the bills. Very clear, clean, and simple at the end of line.
Would you say that there's a difference in the way that we should be pricing the sustaining work versus the developing work, the building?
Yeah. Especially as you mentioned, the clear example is something is not a part of your forte. It doesn't fulfill you. You're not passionate about it. It's a pain in the ass. Then you put an adequate price tag on that. That is also one of the solutions. Everything depends on the level of complexity, the challenge and project what you have on the table. But that is something which is just fine and okay. Surely you don't go down the rabbit hole, price overly high, meaning that you cannot not necessarily compete with others, but you set some crazy amount which doesn't have any real connection with the actual value you'll in the end deliver. The point is that you balance it adequately so all sides are satisfied, you paid your bills, you do the sustained work, and you can in the end fund or invest or save for your passions.
I would agree. I would also say that I would not do charity work on the sustaining part. So because okay, I mean, sometimes you can help people, but there's always people that you can help in and grow at the same time. So I don't think it's, if you're doing something for free to help a friend or to help a needy cause or whatever, do it in your developing work, because then you are getting something, you are getting better, you are getting a reference, you are getting doing something just for reference in your sustaining work makes absolutely no sense. And also, I wouldn't really take risks in your sustaining work. So if somebody says, yeah, I may be able to pay you, that's fine, but not for sustaining work. Sustaining work is here to pay the bills. So I'm sometimes asked, since I help people raise their prices, I am sometimes asked, how come you don't offer going on like a percentage or something, right? And to that I answer, well, if you had two choices to be paid for your work, it's $3,000 right now or $12,000 maybe at some point in the future. Which one would you choose? And they invariably say, well, 3,000 now. So yeah, I'm the same. If there was an opportunity for me that somebody said, 3,000 now or 40,000 maybe at some point in the future, maybe we're talking, right? Maybe we are. Maybe I can afford it. Maybe that sounds like a good adventure to go on, right? And there's an appropriate chest of gold at the end of that adventure. But 1 to 4, no, thank you. That's so I don't usually offer that because people are not comfortable with the ratio that would be needed for me to take that risk.
Yeah.
And if they wouldn't take that risk, they can blame me for not willing to take that risk. I do it differently. That's something that we can talk about. But I do a guarantee when somebody works with me that my price is fixed, but I only stop working with them once they can actually sell at the price which I indicated. But that's a risk of my time, but not my money. Right? There's a variation here. Anyway, I would not do charity work. That's sustainment only, right? Earmark for sustainment, or take risks, because that's not really a good idea business wise, right? Doing both of these things for things that that will help you grow, absolutely, if you can afford it, if you have you know, the adventurous spirit, if you really want to help, absolutely go for it. And you won't be sorry. Here you might be sorry.
Yeah. Especially if you have a company with the employees, etc., etc., etc. So logistically speaking, it is quite demanding to do the sustained work for the promise of maybe and simmer. That simply won't happen. It's impossible, or at least, as you said, the suggestion is not to go down that route.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what you mentioned there with your friend and colleague, it's a humbling thing sometimes to see. Yeah, I still have to do the sustaining work sometimes, right? But as you said, it doesn't really pay to be dramatic.
Yeah.
To say, no, I've sold out. You know, you did one job and you'll forget that you did it in like half a year.
It's not black and white. It's gray in most occasions.
Yeah, because
as I said previously,
there's clients and there's clients. So you can do some great work for some really bad clients, or some dull work for some really great clients. So there's always going to be, as they say, shades of gray in this, and it's a sound principle to differentiate these things, to differentiate the kinds of work, and to not really take it to heart and look at that. Okay. I think we've milked this thing enough. Unless you have something else to add, tell me, where can people find you?
Yeah, I think we covered practically everything. And yeah, people can find me on LinkedIn. I'm there and active. Also on my growth marketing agency page, maoyo.agency, and my consulting practice, maoyo.consulting.
So people can find me on fearless-pricing.com, and also LinkedIn, and soon many other places again. I hope, folks, thank you very much for tuning in, and see you next time.
See you. Take care. Bye.